The Yellow House 3. The yellow house in pictures, old pictures, and a page of my father's handwritten directions, and an ink pen map. Turn right. Everything in capitals from the airport to the door. Wooden chairs clamoured in the village hall. We palmed our mulled wine, and overheard some villagers' suspicion of us, and were greeted by others and handed their children, said they remembered me from my visits when I was 5. Their wide-eyed, stumbling English, my grandmotherly Swedish, made them laugh. And you say later that my eyes are just as large and wide, and that that part must be the Swedish part of me. We arranged the transfer by seaplane, but she sailed to the island on her honeymoon. And what we find there, cold sun, nothing, rough stone, piles of it, moss, flint, grass, like ingrown toenails. This is a ritual welcome to my family. Husks of wind peel away past us. I remember the photographs. They seemed so happy here, old family land. The fisherman's shack made jolly with the fabric of her apron, and her face captured mid-joke. They were newborn to marriage, more like us than my memories of them. The wind and rain howls. I return to the moment. You hug me for warmth with dread, cold dread, and we rush back to the waiting seaplane. Asleep. And we are all part of each other. I cannot breathe aloud without a sense of the impact my chest would have against your sleeping body. We are the stories our skins tell to each other. I said yes to you and your history, brought along in canvas sacks and paper bags. You sleep with a quietness. My eyelids are cold and my clavicle exposed. I move out, cover myself in a blanket, step into the starry night, snowy night, alone against the verge of snow. I cannot locate the natural plants or the unkempt garden under the whiteness. A black cat meets me, watches me. Us, alone, out here. I naturally fall down to its eye line and hold out a hand, but the cat rejects the gesture and flits out an arc, avoiding me, its spluttering path charted in the snow. The hotel is quiet, and we are not tourists, but you tell me you've eaten too much fish. And I sip mulled wine, and we both mention Australia again, but I am sad with the book I am writing. I am laden, too laden to travel, at least for now. I kiss your sideburns. They peter out by your jawline like the pebbly shallows of a stream. You have round eyes, studied and well formed, like your handwriting. Out the window, men carry themselves so steadily. We watch them mill around the town square, the warm yellow of the street lamps. The women break out into their own circles, walking around the central square. Some evenings, I remember this from childhood. A trip into town, the mass of adult legs to weave through. I remember waltzing. My grandfather, everything. I remember that feeling of knowing the next day you would be returning, and that full sense of having been that comes. The knowledge that we will follow. The knowledge that we will follow. We're smitten with fever. I read a letter that has travelled over a small windy sea of archipelagos, and someone lights the lamps in room after room. From the Parks by Tua Forsstrom. The rooms. There are rooms I haven't entered. And he said carefully, "What shall I do with your grandfather's shaving kit?" There are rooms. I clasp him tightly to me. Allow his head to slowly graze my cheek as he rests on my shoulder. We are so unlikely, even alone in the cold yellow house. When I was a child, when I was here last, I never thought of this. I never considered loving another man possible. We embrace in the kitchen. We are part of the history. I write a long note to my brothers arriving in 3 weeks. I swirl the fountain pen and write too floridly, too inkily for just a domestic hello. He holds my left hand tightly. I write on to the end of the page. The yellow house is dedicated to my grandmothers.